Written by Jeffrey B. Flores, illustrated by Stephen Marchesi. Chapter 1. Miranda James looked long and hard at the 12-year-old girl in the mirror. "This is summer, you're going to do it," she said out loud. "You're going to write a science fiction story that will get published and win the Hugo Award or the Nebula Award, maybe even both." Isaac Asimov, Ray Bradbury, Albert Einstein, Ursula K. Le Guin, or the great science or SF writers won these precious science fiction awards. The awards covered all types of fiction that used scientific, magical, or supernatural elements as part of their plots or settings, whether they were science fiction, fantasy, or honor stories. Miranda liked reading all three kinds of stories, but her favorite was sci-fi. One day, she hoped to become a must-read sci-fi author herself. She penciled her own name, James, between Helen and Legon on a average must-read list of summer reading, thinking about her future. Fame sent cold shiver up her spine. But first, she had to write a good story. This would not be Miranda's first science fiction story. She had written 17 other science fiction stories and submitted every one of them to her favorite sci-fi magazine, Turtle Tales. So what if she had received 17 rejection letters, which each she had received an encouraging note back from editor? "Dear Sir, ma'am, thank you for your submission. However, it does not meet with published needs at this time. Good luck with the future efforts." Miranda didn't care that they were rejecting theaters. The editor had said good. Gently, when Miranda read the letter and reached out the word good, she faintly heard an echo from her bedroom mirror. Or at least she thought she heard it. Either way, she took it as an encouraging sign, felt it out. Sleep, breathe, and almost importantly, read science fiction all through the summer. For the list she had made of sci-fi authors was in alphabetical order. Miranda decided to read an author in a random order. Randomness felt more like science fiction to her. As it turned out, she ended up reading a different number of books by each another by the end of the summer. In fact, Miranda had read 2 books by Sadie Cherry and had learned a lot about Miss Cherry's sci-fi style. They weren't the first book that she read that summer, but she did end up reading more books written by women than by men. Chapter 2. "What are you doing in your room all this beautiful day?" asked Brother Harris, a senior high school. "I hope you're not talking to yourself again." "Maybe I am." Then again, maybe. The voice you heard was an android in the 4th dimension, controlling your mind, said Miranda. She had just started reading books about androids, robots that look like humans. The day before, she finished a book set in the 4th dimension, which meant time was constantly shifting to mind-freaky way. Next, she planned to read a book about an evil scientist who invents a ray gun that zombifies people so that he can take over the world. "I'm taking the dog to the park to play fetch. Want to come?" asked Harris. "No. You go. I have to work to do," Odina replied. Wait a minute, not another one of the ridiculous stories," exclaimed Harris. "They are not ridiculous. They are what we science fiction writers call cautionary tales. Well, I hope it's better than the one about the molten broccoli that grew so big it squished the Milwaukee," teased Harris. "That was a zucchini, for your information, and it was is naughty that got squashed. Don't you get it? Bikini is a type of squash. That is what we writers call a play on words. And because the greedy awareness overloads were using illegal fertilizer that accidentally got set with radioactive waste on it by corrupt politicians who ran the nuclear power plant. The zucchini grew so big it crushed them all, tit for tat. We sci-fi writers call this analogy. Well, spouted Harris, did you feel like exercising something besides your overactive imagination? Let me know. We non-writers call this as an invitation. That Harris made her so mad. He told her to leave the science fiction to boys. She should write stories about lost kittens, pink princesses, and wild horses. Miranda knew some girls who liked romantic stuff, but it made her want to throw up. Still, Harris was right about getting exercise, so he radically put aside her writing and wrote her back to the library. She checked out an odd number of books. Ursula K. Le Guin, a female sci-fi and fantasy writer. Thank you, she said to Harris, though Harris wasn't anywhere around. Miranda looked at her list of authors and now planned to read more books by female sci-fi writers. Thus, she figured that an odd number would be a good idea because odd was somewhat weird. She felt like a weird story brewing inside of her. Chapter 3. Doesn't the tale ramble around Miranda's brain, waiting to be on paper? But the gynae glanced at him whenever he told them his story. Knights in shining armor saved Dansom in distress. No wonder, said Big Sister, that's girl stuff. Virginia's adventures also had wizards and trolls, and ice-breathing dragons, he explained. His sister didn't listen. She told him to get a life, because if he had a life, he'd not only have fun, he had something real to write about. Jim had plenty of fun writing his stories. Thank you very much. One day he would be famous because of them too. So he just kept writing what he felt he had to write. They are good stories, he heard a voice inside him say. They would say out loud, good. Reading all the science fiction is definitely helped my writing, Linda thought. So far, she especially enjoyed the space travel books by Arthur C. Clarke. Not too bad, she had not read him first. Clarke's books were considered pure science fiction. They were made up stories, but based on scientific truths. His book looked at how real scientific discoveries could put people in situations where when they had to make decisions that could change people's lives for the better or worse. Heavy stuff, said Marina out loud. Then she felt another chill come over her. At first, she thought it came from her realizations in that bad sci-fi, measuring science often meant power over nature. It's just not human nature. It was not a tingly feeling she was feeling. It was an icy place. She was standing in front of the air conditioner that had just turned on. Once again, she was in front of the mirror in a room. Her hot, air conditioner-less, friendly room. Feeling creeped out. She reached at the touch of the mirror. It was cold to her touch, colder than ice cube, almost frozen as carbon dioxide gas, which she had been researching to use in the story. When she touched the mirror with her index finger, it turned numb. She hadn't flinched. Mira was sure her finger would have stuck into the mirror. Then Miranda tried a different experiment. She breathed on the mirror. It fogged up. That reminded Miranda when she was younger and would breathe into the cold cork window in winter. When it fogged up, so she knew it was caused by the condensation. She wrote her name on the window. Then the letters disappeared as the fog evaporated. The cool part was that the letters in the name would appear magically if she blew another warm breath on the same spot. Now she knew it wasn't magic that caused this, it was science. It was a strange name, however. That this wasn't winter. There wasn't a cold window, and when the fox evolved from the mirror, Miranda appeared like reading list. James Miranda, last name first. She had not written her name that way on the mirror. She shivered again. Chapter 4. Have Miranda written a name on that way for Miller a long time ago? To take her mind off this creepy feeling, Miranda picked up a book by J.L. Shanley. It was the first sci fantasy author that she would read at the summer. She studied his picture on the book jacket, the biographic notes that had died in a few years ago, and often written about magic and fantasy worlds. Miranda read late into the night. Her eyes burned, but she couldn't stop. She had to find out what happened to Zenelli's famous character, Prince Cowan of Amber. Sometime around midnight, Miranda dozed off. She dreamed that a dark-haired boy in tussle spoke to her from the mirror. "You can do it," he said. "Just keep writing." Miranda woke up in a cold sweat. Bong, bong, struck the grandfather clock in the dining room. 2 o'clock in the morning would be a good time for something spooky to happen in one of my stories, Miranda said to herself as she reached for a journal to make some late-night notes. As she gazed at the mirror, another icy breath whooshed past her, and she froze momentarily. All of a sudden, a face appeared from what her form. "You see, like inside the mirror." "Oh my gosh, the Joker's energy!" she cried. Chapter 5. Prince Chevron shouted his word and raised his shield. "Oh, not valiant," he commanded, and his enormous white centaur took off gallop. Antarctica and the ice-breathing dragon had turned the princess into an ice sculpture. "No, I'm not generally stronger," said her voice in the mirror, "but I, too, am a magnificent writer, and if you'll excuse me, I have to go to save the princess." Was Marima still dreaming? "Ow!" she cried as if being herself. No, she was awake, or she was in a nightmare when she was dreaming while she was awake. Hadn't she read a story about something like that happen? She checked her notes. It could have been one of the books by Ottilia Butler, reading the 5 books by a different author. Maybe Harris was correct about her need to take a break from sci-fi. Then she realized it must be happening. "All right, Harris," she said. "I know you're playing a trick on me. Haha, you got me. You can come out now." "My name isn't Harris," she said in the face mirror. "It's Miranda. James Miranda." "James Miranda? That's my name too, but backward," said Miranda. "Miranda James." "I know," said the face in the mirror. The face belonged to a boy that seemed about 12 years old. In fact, the face looked like Miranda's if she had been a boy. "I've been trying to reach you," said James. "I sent you a message on the mirror. My first attempt wasn't strong enough. Only Ma, our name made it through." James Miranda on the mirror. So I wasn't making it up. It really happened. "It is happening," James said. "Wow, this is freaky and awesome, just like a real science fiction story. You must put in some better parallel universe where things are backward, inside out of, or spirit chains. That's what we call them in my world," explained James. "Only a select few have them, which means they are rare gifts." Then he explained about the Green Grave is searching. Even a black hole in outer space. There was a reason to make himself known to Miranda, and how it would give him to actual true life story of adventure to write. Miranda was in rapture and looked down everything on James' head. It was something no one was going to believe her, making actual every word. Explorer. Miranda managed to capture the details of her talk with James in the journal, and the journal grew in the look. Her first look, Pinpoint in the Looking Glass, became a bestseller because the mere word she wrote about was so believable. Miranda critics said that the story was splendid science, with fictions in such a way that it was hard to tell where the science ended and the fiction began. As a prolific science fiction writer, Miranda finally joined the ranks of other authors with big dreams and imaginations.